Okay, it's Thursday. I'm back with the co-host here, Victor Von Schroom. How you doing, Victor? Oh, don't know if we can hear him.
What the hell kind of country is this where I can only hate a man if he's white?
Sorry, man, I stopped muted.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. How are you, Victor?
I'm fine.
Fine. That's better than lousy. Um,
Well, fucking the next year. Keep it at that.
Okay, guys. Before we get started, of course, I should tell you about the T-shirt contest. We're getting there. We're getting closer. I think it's like 51, 41, 42 left to go. 41. Kitty B right on top of it before I can even figure it out. Kitty rocks. 41 to go before we give away 2 T-shirts. One JJ Stoner Midget Wednesday shirt, large child size, and a Winning TV shirt from the Winning TV store on Teespring. Either a Speakeasy shirt, a Winning TV shirt, or a Promises Kept shirt with Doc Martin on one breast, myself on the other facing inward. We got to get a Victor Von Schroom shirt. I think a mushroom shirt or something like that. Eventually here.
That's something.
Oh, so let's see. Is there anything to talk about in this in this world right now? I can't think of anything. Can you?
Oh, yeah. We can talk about canceled 2021.
Oh, we're gonna cancel 2021. It's looking
Already
like
did,
that.
so
It looks like we're gonna cancel 2021 if Joe Biden's president. Apparently.
yeah. If we touch down our administration by March, we're gonna cancel 2021. So you guys are probably screwed by January as well. So
Oh, I just want to make sure. I'm pretty sure they can hear you. I want to make sure they can hear you, though, Victor.
you've been crackling up. I don't know why.
Okay, I've
Oh,
been
I know
crackling
why.
up.
Hold on. How stupid Discord wanted to capture my camera.
Ah, I switched over to Streamlabs during the week, so uh, got rid of XSplit because so for some reason when I got that Windows update, remember a few weeks ago, my Stream Deck stopped working, and ever since then nothing works. No matter what I do, I deleted everything, re-upped it, tried to reconfigure the buttons, and Stream Deck will not connect with XSplit. So I finally said the hell with it. Although Stream Deck doesn't connect with OBS Streamlabs either, but there is a workaround. So I did that and reset all the buttons. So I worked on that.
OBS is the superior when it comes to these things. I found out myself.
Well, XSplit is nice and easy to easy to use, but there's a lot of things. If something goes wrong, holy cow, you got to basically redo the whole thing. So,
Well, Streamlabs is easy. OBS takes a bit of finicking.
yeah, we used to use OBS, but then it was just plain out OBS. Streamlabs OBS seems to be a little
Yeah,
bit
I'd
better.
switch OBS because you'll have way more functionality than Oculus.
Yeah, I noticed that, and the Streamlabs came right in perfectly the first shot. And XSplit, it wasn't working. It was doubling it up. I don't know what the hell was going on with that. But XSplit wants you to pay for anything extra. So, you
Oh
know.
yeah, just screwing up the free version to the point people have to pay.
So why don't we get right into it, Victor? Have you been hearing anything about this Dominion? Because now everybody's talking about this Dominion software.
Oh yeah, I've seen Star Trek.
Star Trek. It seems like quite a few people and reputable people have been digging into this. Where we've seen videos where CNN had votes like drop off of Trump and jump up on Biden in real time. So apparently this happened in Wisconsin, and I don't know what if they ever changed the vote total. It sounds like it's down to 1,000 votes now in Wisconsin, but there's every website has some different total now, so it's almost impossible to keep track of. Now OAN says Wisconsin's down to 1,000, so I don't know where we're going with this, but I talked about this on Tuesday. I thought that, yeah, there'd be some ballot cheating, but they couldn't cheat enough with ballots. If you were going to do it, you would do it on the behind-the-scenes tabulation software. But that's just me. And apparently it's happened a couple times.
It's the easiest thing. Just you can load in any ballot. It will keep it balancing out for a Biden win. It's easy.
The software, right?
I mean, that would take maybe 10 lines of script to do that.
That's what a couple of computer programmers I heard on the radio say, that they could make it so that, okay, for every 8 Trump votes that come in, you flop 2 of them to Biden. And from what they're saying, from what they're looking at, and I guess these guys are digging into the vote totals and the ballots and all the data, they're saying it appears it's happened in more than one county.
That's the benefit of those things. They're online, so you can just run it from your home.
Now, my guess would be that obviously Trump with that CISA, because I've got the tweet here. Hold on, let me bring up that tweet. Today, it wasn't her. It was. Oh, I've got it over here. Hold on, give me 1 second. Where the hell is it? There it is. Oh, wrong one. This one. Okay. So today, Trump comes out and says, retweets. No, Chanel Ryan from OAN retweeted Trump. And Trump says, report Dominion deleted 2.7 million Trump votes nationwide. Data analysis finds 221,000 Pennsylvania votes switched from President Trump to Biden. 941,000 Trump votes deleted. States using Dominion voting system switched 435,000 votes from Trump to Biden. Of course, there's the disclaimer from Twitter. This claim about election fraud is disputed. So, in your opinion, does he know already what's going on, or?
Well, that's the whole thing. He's been alluding to it from like when April, March, and they went with it anyways.
Right.
My suspicion is he knew about it. They pretty much sat by and watched and started cataloging every crappy thing they did.
Now, I'm, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm of the opinion he tried to warn them not to do anything with the paper ballots. But I think
He hasn't warned them. They're
What's that, Victor? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, he has been daring them to do it because he's been saying this for months in on out straight after the election. So
I think we've always had problems with elections, especially in the larger cities, with paper ballots and absentee ballots appearing. And you remember, I don't know how many elections that I've watched where Palm Beach County and Broward County, it'd be a close race, and then suddenly a box of ballots would appear out of nowhere. Oh gee, look what we found here behind the filing cabinet, and so that's always been a problem. But I don't think that's where the mass, if there was fraud, before we get knocked off YouTube, if there was alleged fraud, that's a very small part of it, but not enough to overturn the election. It's within the software is where because come on, if you're a Democrat, you got to be thinking at 2:00 in the morning, states out west and states in the east stopped counting at 2:00 in the morning. That at 2:00 in the morning Eastern time, as Trump was taking a sizable lead. Now,
well, they had to adjust.
yeah, it appears they had to do something, right? I mean, if you're a reasonable person, you got to say, wait a minute, why would Arizona and Las Vegas need to stop counting all of a sudden at that would be midnight, right? Out west. It just doesn't make sense.
The problem is it went across the board at the same time.
Right.
And that's kind of the problem.
Exactly. Just, if anything, something just does not seem legit. It just seems, I don't even know what you call it. I mean, just, we were all on air together and said, what's going on? All of a sudden, there's no tallies coming in. Then we go to Arizona and there's nothing. It stopped. And you go to Pennsylvania and it stopped. So a reasonable person would question that. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Does anybody know? And there's so many stories floating around about what happened at that time.
It's not even a reasonable person. I mean, it's been on CNN where they covered, I believe, North Carolina.
Right.
Oh no, it's what's Michigan. Hold on, I need to grab the map. Minnesota. Mm-hmm. They just turned blue all of a sudden, and they didn't even expect that.
Right.
That was live.
That's what's weird. That and again, I talked about this Tuesday. I don't think that Trump allowed them to cheat and just watched it. I think they did it, and now he has the evidence. He's got something. I mean, he's tweeting out this stuff, and he's got to know something.
Well, he already amended a law for computer fraud, because that one wasn't in legislation yet. So he's been pushing certain aspects of the whole photo fraud thing that wasn't in legislation yet. And that's kind of important, because the minute they look into those, because no offense, but you can rewrite a computer any way you see fit, but you can always pull the data back.
Right.
So unless they burn the hard drives.
So obviously, see, here's what I forgot about, and I picked up on Thomas Richter a couple of days ago, and a couple of other people picked up on it, was the CISA. They have the power to watch what's going on. I forgot all about it. They're under the Department of Homeland Security, which elections were put under in 2018. So they can watch what's going on, the CISA, and they can catalog everything that's going on with their computers, apparently.
Yeah, and again, that was Democratic initiative. If you can tell the irony from that.
So if they've got now that going back to Michigan, the 6,000 votes, when that came out that 6,000 votes were flipped one way when they should have gone one way, wasn't that the tell? Like, wait a minute, this is the same software that all of these states are using?
Well, here's the thing. He kept saying it's a glitch. Call it a glitch what you want, but when I get a computer and I see a problem in the software, that usually is a man-made problem. It's not a calculation problem. Because if it was a calculation problem, it would happen constantly. And it would compound to absurd numbers. Instead of equalizing like they did right now.
Exactly. That makes sense. And from what every single person I've heard so far that is a computer programmer, one of them, his son, is a cybersecurity expert in the government, apparently. And he said, I've done this for 40 years or whatever. My son's doing it. We both talked about it. There is no way this was a glitch that votes flipped like that. That was written into a program, right?
Any person that knows how to program PHP for their website or Java for their website to make a cash register work can tell you that.
Now, he said there's
500 orders on your website when someone purchases one thing.
Well, he said there's many different ways they can write that program. They could say, okay, like I said, for every 8 votes that come in for Trump, give 2 to Biden. They could have, and they can keep changing that number at will, too. He said they can go in there and change that anytime they want. Anybody can do it.
My suspect on this is what they did was they did it during the 4 a.m. shutdown. They had an equalizing equation in there that would always benefit Biden. And they had to turn that on. That's basically what they had to do.
Well, that makes sense.
And after that, any other ballot that would come in would be going for Biden. That's how you got that 85% rating for Biden in certain places.
Well, when they saw the numbers going the way they did, that explains the immediate shutdown in all the states that were left that Trump was ahead in. And he was ahead by quite a bit in Michigan and more than enough in Pennsylvania. But they all stopped at the same time. That explains it, because they had to shut it down all at once and get in the right formulation to say, okay, flip these votes. Because that vote flip was drastic, and it happened within an hour of them going back to counting, right? If I recall.
Yeah, but with my experience with government programming, they probably had to manually put it in. And any computer stooge can just pull it out.
But that would have had to been coordinated, right, by all those states that...
That's the whole thing. This is a conspiracy. And with Trump's computer fraud election, he did that, I believe, today or yesterday, where he amended the law for computer fraud in election results. So if that comes out, it's going to be a conspiracy.
That would mean that the CISA, not CIA, the new CISA would have the evidence, if
It
you
wouldn't
will,
take,
right?
it would take just a few hours to pull that
That's
and
that's
confirm.
what that's what
And like
Thomas Richter said. They would know within a matter of hours what happened exactly.
irony with it is, the Democrats put that agency in place because of the Russian collusion. That's the irony.
So when he created that new department that fell under Homeland Security, did the Democrats, obviously they had to help fund that, right? Or vote
They
on that.
initiated that
Oh, they
because of the Russian
initiated.
investigation. That's the irony.
This would be hilarious if the evidence from the CISA, who Trump would have had control of over because it falls under the executive, right?
That's just executive branch. Because Trump was pushed to that, put it in. The Democrats were like, "We have you now. We can prove collusion with Russia." And then the whole steel dossier fell flat.
So it would be funny to find out. But the thing is, a couple of people said, if it was the CISA that has the information, that you probably won't ever be told that they're the ones who figured it out.
Well, that's the thing. He's gonna pull that out. He's gonna say, flat out say, "Remember Russiagate?"
Right. But do you think if they've got the evidence that the CISA was able to gather that evidence, excuse me, gather that evidence about the computer? I think it's the vote flipping is where they really did it at 2 a.m. Between 2 a.m. and 4:30. They had to flip the votes because they didn't have enough paper ballots to cover what they needed to cover.
That's the thing. Trump had already a mail ballot system in place that was coded with cryptocurrency. People have been saying around, and they were basically waiting for the moment they gotta hack those machines because they don't have enough papers.
But the authority, they have the authority to get into those machines, the CISA apparently, because they fall under Homeland Security, and U.S. elections fell into Homeland Security.
Yeah.
So they have the authority to go in there, right?
Those machines are connected, and they're probably logging.
See, the thing is, they must have had to do it county by county because you couldn't do it statewide, right? That's why the 2.5 hour delay.
You could do it nationwide. It's that easy.
But wouldn't somebody have to connect the tabulating software to the... Because apparently it's separate, right? From the internet. It's not just connected to the internet, right?
It wouldn't be connected to the internet, but it would be connected to the government internet or network. Because just like the military agencies, they don't use the internet, but they have their own networks.
So do you think somebody went in and made a decision in each state to go in and alter that?
No, that had to be a global.
Oh, you think
they wouldn't have all shut down at the same time.
Oh, so you think it was done all at once?
Because they all went down and that's the entire problem with it.
Well, that's where they made a mistake, because even reasonable people are questioning that. Whoa, what happened? You know, we were getting counts and totals, but how could you have Western states and Eastern states shut down at the same exact time? It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, the biggest argument was one that had a valid claim of we're dealing with flooding. And even the flooding is being held into question right now, so they don't even have that one anymore.
So it's all right. So Trump tweets out that tweet, and I'll read it again. It was obviously he's got specific numbers here, which is to me a tell. He's telling you a report. Report from who? It doesn't tell me who the report was from. So I'm not sure where he got the numbers, but it's 2.7 million Trump votes nationwide, 221,000 Pennsylvania votes. Now, was that what he got from the Gateway Pundit? Because here's the article from the Gateway Pundit. Breaking exclusive analysis of election night data from all states shows millions of votes either switched from President Trump to Biden or were lost using Dominion and other systems. So let me see if they've got any data. And well, they don't. They've got even more specific. Oh wait, here we go. He got it from. No, they got that as trending. So I don't think they got. They wrote this down. I don't think that's what they wrote. Trending. But Trump pulled this directly off of Gateway Pundit, apparently. So I'm trying to find out who came up with these numbers, and it doesn't really say.
Well, the numbers doesn't matter. The way it's being blocked by mass media does matter. Because Trump isn't even not just fighting the vote. He's also fighting the DNC with Biden and Kamala, and he's fighting the mass media and big tech. So the more they block him off, the more they make themselves complicit.
So
because they don't block off the Democratic statements. That's the whole thing.
So okay, so I can understand this vote switching piece, but how do they explain the lost votes? They just deleted votes?
They flat out deleted, or all those ballots that have been found lying around are being added to the bunch. Because there have been a whole slew of trash fire ballot findings.
So in New York, for instance, and here are some of the numbers on Dominion. Switched votes, 18,124. Lost votes, 623,213. So even if you've got that, Trump still doesn't win New York, correct?
Well, no, but it's not just Trump, the Trump election that matters. It's the local election that also matters.
Right. The congressional races, that's important.
House and state races, they're going to matter as well in that regard. But the main reason for the lost vote count is people registered themselves as Republican. And that's where they get those numbers from.
Got it. So those are registered voters that were registered Republican.
Yeah, because before the election, the news already reported record numbers of Republican voters registering themselves. Even with Biden's surge of ballots and votes, there was no news about Democrats registering themselves. And that's suspect as well.
Right. Well, remember in Florida, and I think even Boogie talked about this as well, was Florida, Arizona, and Pennsylvania, Republicans were out-registering Democrats 3-1.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing. Biden got more votes than Obama, but no one registered. See that problem?
Yeah, exactly. So in Pennsylvania, the number is Lost votes is 941,248. Switched votes is two. So that's if you take the switch votes, right, 220,883, and flop it over, that means that's a net gain of 440,000, 442,000, right?
But that's the entire thing. They probably had calculated for 2016, and then the record amount of registered voters came into place. So they had to
So they had the software set for 2016, and then the oh shit moment came at 2 o'clock, where looking at the numbers, Trump's up by 400,000 to 500,000, right?
What I'm saying, they had the mail-in ballot set,
Okay.
but the minute they saw the numbers coming in, they knew they didn't have enough ballots, and then they had to fix the machines.
Oh, got it. So they realized they didn't have enough mail-in votes to cover the spread, so that's why they stopped everything.
At 4 a.m.
That makes sense. And it's weird because they all went back to counting at about the same time. And that's when the massive flops happened in Michigan, and especially we noticed it more in Michigan and Pennsylvania, I think, because the number was so big. Because how did they get 500,000 votes counted in an hour? Right?
Not just yet, but if you look at it now, there was a close race, and suddenly it was a foregone conclusion.
Right.
Because I was paying attention to Illinois and New York, because Illinois was close to becoming red.
Where is that on the list? Hold on one second. I forgot how much the spread was in Illinois, but you're talking about, let's see, flip votes was 2,000, so that'd be a net of 4,000, right? Because you have to double it, because minus 2,000 for Biden plus 2,000 for Trump. But then the lost votes were 55,000.
Exactly, and you got to double that as well.
That's a sizable number. So if you take the 54 plus the 4, that's almost 60,000 vote difference. And
I expect Illinois to go but I expected it at least to be at between 3,000 and 400,000 difference, and it's basically 700,000.
So let me do this. I'm going to pull this up away on election map, because they changed their election map now. OAN did.
Gave a good recommendation. The fair tax amendment. You got to check out those votes. They'll give you the total.
Illinois. Oh, I got the wrong map here. I don't want an interactive map. I guess I could look at this one. It's Politico, but this is well, they gave Biden a win on Politico, but where are the states? North Carolina. Where the hell is it? Called races. Oh man, I gotta flip through the whole thing. This map is terrible. Illinois, right? Let me see if I can find it. No, I don't want that. I gotta find a better map. But I'm wondering how close. I mean, I didn't expect him to win Illinois. I thought it would be a lot closer than what they were showing, but that's 60,000 votes. Does it make a difference?
No, not the 16,000. It's the lost vote count.
Well, that's the lost count, the 60,000 plus the, that's the lost votes plus the flipped votes. So that would be. Oh, here we go. I found OANs. OAN. Oh, that's not it. Election. Come on.
So you gotta look at the whole Chicago, which is also a huge problem.
Oh, Chicago.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
all other counties are close races except for Chicago.
Well, so is Illinois and Atlanta and Philadelphia. There, just so many stories of issues coming out, but that's where that 2 o'clock shutdown and Lady Fritzader up back in the chat there brought up. Remember the burst water pipe in, I thought it was North Carolina. That's why they stopped counting. Well, someone went and checked on that. Apparently, they didn't have a burst water pipe. That was the excuse. Somebody from OAN, I can't remember who, but they dug into it. And, what's that?
They debunked the flooding.
So it never happened. So why
that's
would
the
you
whole
have to
thing.
lie about that?
And but even if it was a real thing, it was one location. How would they affect all the other locations?
Right. Why would Arizona stop counting because North Carolina had a burst water pipe? It makes no sense, right? So Illinois had 3 million for Biden. How many for Trump, Boca Bradley?
I can give you those numbers. Give me a second.
Oh, okay.
That's 2.3 million. But that's not the weird thing. If you look at all the blue state or county votes, they're all for the most part on par with the red counties, except for Chicago. And no offense about county, but that's where the lead came. Because Biden got pretty much 1 million votes out.
But that does make it closer, and I mean,
Because that's the
prospectively,
county that changed the vote in Illinois.
is I can't remember the name of the county in Chicago.
Because it would have still been a close race for Biden, but Cook County had 1 million out of the blue.
Cook,
or 500,000.
right? That Cook County. That's right. That's where Chicago is. So that's where they picked up that enormous amount of votes in a hurry. Just
And that's the thing all across the states that were swing states. There are only a few locations that have an absurd amount of Biden votes.
right. So, I mean, we watched it real time. We were on the air when it happened, and it was like, I mean, we were on the air at 4:30 when all of a sudden those numbers flip flop. But when I woke up at 6:30, I'm like, what the hell happened? I mean, they stopped counting it too. Now Trump's down in Michigan. He was up by over 500,000 votes.
Over 637,000, I believe.
Yep, at 2 o'clock when they stopped counting, and then within hours of coming back, that number completely flipped. It's like somebody walked into the room at the counting room and turned a switch on, and then boom.
Flip the table.
Yeah. They
it's like playing chess with your kid, you know. Your kid is losing, so you change the board.
That's exactly what happened. Is they saw what we were watching, that Trump was going to win. Even with the mail-in ballots, he was going to win.
Because that was the thing. Europeans polling stations were more accurate than our U.S. stations. Because the U.S. stations were more in line with polling machines.
Yeah.
Or the voting machines, let's keep it at
I've got another one here from Rudy Giuliani, off of Just the News. Actually, is there? Yeah, there's video here. Cool. Let's see if it plays. It's not Fox News, so it might play. Fox never plays for us, so but we're gonna try it here. Turn up the volume. Let's see what happens.
One of the things that a lot of our viewers have asked about is particularly this Dominion voting software. This was the software that was used in
Just so you know, I didn't watch this video, so it's pretty funny that they started right out with Dominion.
in Michigan. And in Antrim County, they had Joe Biden up by thousands of votes. They claimed there was a software glitch. It was discovered, it was fixed, and then it turned out that President Trump was actually up by thousands of votes. We know that you and your team have been investigating this. At the present time, do you have any whistleblowers inside Dominion who you're speaking with?
Well, I wouldn't call them whistleblowers. We have a person who's come forward with an affidavit inside of Dominion that has said that Dominion observed the 100,000 phony ballots that were brought in at 4 o'clock in the morning on November 5th that were all Biden ballots that appeared by every measure to be phony ballots since they were brought in the back door. They were not in the proper containers. They were sticking out of the paper bags and cardboard boxes. And they were told that these were ballots that were needed to catch up to Trump because Trump was too far ahead. When they were counted, they were all counted in favor of Biden. The woman who has given us an affidavit, who worked for Dominion, said that she saw not a single Trump vote. She was there for 4 or 5 hours. And it appeared to her to be horribly corrupt. And when she reported it, nothing was done about it. She was told it wasn't any of their business. So that's not a whistleblower. That's
Sure.
a witness on the record in our lawsuit in Michigan, which is why I feel pretty good about the lawsuit. There's a 100,000 vote fraud. Do we have other witnesses for that are somewhat reluctant to come forward right now? Yes. We can probably corroborate that 3 or 4 times. Wow. So I think they're finished on that. I think that's something that actually happened. They brought 100,000 votes in. They were all Biden votes. There was not even a vote for another Democrat. And it was intended because they were panicked because Trump was ahead by much more than they anticipated. The same thing happened in Pennsylvania. They never anticipated Trump being ahead by 800,000 votes.
Okay, so neither one of us watched this video, but I think we both agreed that that's what happened. That they said, oh, shit. Still there, Victor?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I was typing in chat.
So
explaining the Illinois vote jump suddenly.
So you and I both agreed that that's what we thought happened. Is they saw the numbers and said, "Oh shit!" At 2 o'clock, they said, "We got to shut this thing down now."
Yeah, and I pretty much they would cart in more and more mail order ballots, but it turns out they were just tricking machines.
So apparently, in this area where they found the 100,000 ballots, and it would be, they would do this in Detroit, they would do this in Atlanta, they would do this in Philadelphia, they would do this in large cities where they, I mean, obviously they're Democrat strongholds, and in hopes of nobody's going to say anything.
Well, the thing is, if people had registered in record numbers, Biden would have won legally, basically, with mail fraud. But because all the 1, 2, 3 Trump registered voters, they had to change the machines.
Right. So, yeah, it's exactly what we're saying. Oh shit! Moment hit at 2 a.m. Oh shit, we're in trouble. Because that I've watched elections for a long time and never saw anything like that happen before, ever.
Because the main problem that happened was people registered for Republicans, but the Democrats didn't show up. That's when the CDC came with you can vote now.
Yes, that was a little nugget a lot of people missed, was that the CDC 2 days, I think it was 48 hours before the election, said even if you have COVID and you're symptomatic, you can go vote. That was a shocker right there. And a couple weeks ago, I think you were here when I played AOC in New York City, telling people to get out and vote, and that she was all upset about the long lines that would happen, and that would, that we needed to supply voters with lawn chairs and snacks. Remember that?
That's why I'm saying Democrats did no show, or at least not enough of a show for Democrats to even catch up with Trump, with included with mail order fraud ballots.
Exactly. 11 a.m. election day, the CDC announced COVID positives could go. But I think they said asymptomatics could go 48 hours before the election day. So they said the COVID positives could go. So because you're asymptomatic, it doesn't mean you have it. It means, I don't feel good. Doesn't mean you've been tested, though, right? Interesting.
Rational, you got it easy. I mean, it's not like you guys like your president, right?
Oh, Rational Times says, screw you guys, I'm riding with Biden. Oh. You've got your own Biden up there. It's like a Biden AOC mix-up in Canada there, Rational Times.
Even more blackface ones.
Yeah. Oh, you got President Blackface or Prime Minister Blackface up there. The quarantine ballots everyone is clapping about on Twitter. They don't say the number. I bet because it's not many. Yeah, I don't think it's the ballots are a problem. Okay, that's a problem when you got 100,000 votes sneaking in the back door at 2 a.m. That's a serious problem.
Enough,
right? So the software is where they had to really make up ground, I think, because some guy. Did you ever see the movie Summer Break? Did any of you guys ever see the movie Summer Break with Mark Harmon and the two guys that are like the stoner guys go to take the test and they're like C all the way down the multiple choice? That's like the Biden people in a van going Biden on a bunch of ballots. You can't fill out enough, right? I think that's what you're saying, right, Victor?
Yeah, well, that's the fun bit. All those ballots that only have Biden, for instance, would get disqualified because everyone who votes, they also vote for people below them. So if you vote Biden, you would vote all the Democrats in. And they didn't do that.
Well, most people
were just Biden in there
because they didn't have time, right, to fill out those ballots.
They took 2 hours to make 100,000 votes.
Yeah. Let's see what else Rudy's got to say here.
It's inherently impossible to make up 800,000 votes or 64% of the vote.
I don't care what they say. He doesn't seem like a bad drunk to me.
You have to cheat to do it. Now, we're talking about Philadelphia. Philadelphia has cheated in every election for the last 60 years. Philadelphia has more people that have gone to prison for election fraud than any city probably in the country. And it's all Democratic election fraud because it's been controlled by a corrupt Democratic machine for 60 years. So when they fell behind by 800,000 votes, they went into a state of panic. And then they had to shut out all the Republicans. They had to bring in all the phony ballots. And we never got to examine over 600,000 ballots, which makes them all unlawful. Illegal.
This is where this is worse than anything. When the Democrats say they want transparency, we don't want voters to be disenfranchised. Remember, they use something different now. It used to be disenfranchised all the time. Voters are being disenfranchised.
It's not voter suppression.
Oh, yeah, there it is, voter suppression. I can't keep up with them. They change everything all the time. They must have focus grouped that one. So now the group that cries voter suppression forced out poll watchers who were legally supposed to be there by law. By law, the poll watchers and the people watching the ballots being done are, by Pennsylvania law, supposed to be there. But they were thrown out. Why? See, Democrats don't help themselves with these election fraud arguments. When you take people who are supposed to be legally there by law, remember the rule of law, voter suppression and all of this. When you take people that are legally supposed to be there and throw them out and then put cardboard over the windows, you don't help your cause.
That's to address Boogie. They're already accusing the GOP of voter suppression before the votes are even mailed out. That's kind of the problem with Democrats. They jumped the shark way too soon. Because they should have waited for at least the ballot to have arrived for at least 2 days on people's doormats. And then go with voter suppression. Because then it's believable.
Exactly.
They've been crying wolf way too fast.
They did it backwards. Instead of trying to commit the fraud, I guess, they did it in plain sight by you take people and throw them out. Yeah, you just created a whole mess right there, right?
We've seen how their agenda was. Their agenda was, we're going to break Donald Trump with him having conceded the election. Not by winning the election, having him concede. Look at the media, look at big tech.
That's what it is. They are trying to force Trump to concede before any of this comes out.
They're fucked.
Boogie Bumper with it. Democrats are like the guy who talks a big sex game, but comes in his pants when she takes her shirt off. Oh, Boogie. So it just doesn't make sense what they're doing. I mean, you wanna try to force Trump out, right? Then don't throw out poll watchers in Philadelphia.
Here's the thing: it's all about public perception, and they've been pulling an agenda so hard. Even North Korea is going, guys, cool it.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un's going, come on, guys, you're going to cheat. You got to do better than this.
But if you're going to do statewide propaganda, do it properly. That's kind of the thing.
I mean, you've got, and listen to this. You've got big tech, right? Obviously, they've already declared Biden a winner. Guess who Biden has invited into his cabinet? Eric Schmidt. one of the former CEOs of, I think it's YouTube. I can't remember her name, but it's all Silicon Valley. He's calling them up and telling them, you're going to be a part of my cabinet. I want you to join the team.
He's already establishing a government, and that's the scary part, by the way. He's already establishing a government without having a government, because he has the gun industry in there, of the gun lobby.
Yep.
And he has pretty much everyone online. And looking at the Black Lives Matter and Antifa bunch, everyone is saying, "Oh, the Republicans are going to have to succeed from the nation." It's going to be the Democrats that are going to be seceding from the nation.
So you've got big tech. He's calling them up, right? Former CEOs of Silicon Valley, and involved in social media, involved in all the censorship that everybody's knows is there. Obviously, it's there. It's even worse now. They're going to be a part of the cabinet. For the media to tell us Joe is going to govern from the center if he's in the White House, that's another point that we can bring up after this video, but he's going to govern from the center, but he's going right to the people that censor everybody. He's telling everybody Beto is going to be his gun guy. I mean, really?
Already said he's going to be hardline progressive. Kamala Harris has also already said they're going to be hardline progressive.
And
because they already count their women.
Oh, wait till people, because really, if you look at this information coming out about Dominion and that 2 million vote count, you're going to have more than half the country pissed at you if he's put in, which I'm starting to doubt this is going to happen. The way Trump is acting, he's already told his OMB to go ahead and start working on the budget for the next fiscal year.
Have you seen Sanders' commentary about the Biden administration? He's already Labor Secretary.
Oh, Bernie Sanders. Yes, Labor Secretary. Okay. Let's finish this video because we can talk about that. This is, they forgot there's a little piece of paper called the Constitution.
Illegal, unlawful, fraudulent. I doubt that the court will allow them to count those ballots.
Okay, that was... Oh, yeah, that was it. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
they deceived me. They deceived me with that video. It looked like it was a lot longer.
Yesterday, the country paused to recognize her.
Stop doing that. All right. So, yeah, they kind of caught me off guard there. It looked like it was a much longer video. But what they forget is that Joe Biden is not president-elect until the states certify their elections. Right?
This irony is a little fake president-elect presentation.
Just because Fox and a bunch of news channels said you're president-elect doesn't mean you are.
Well, that's the whole thing. They're already putting things in the zeitgeist, which Boogie has been pushing. And I kind of disagree with him. They are indeed putting it into the zeitgeist, but they're not getting it through. And they're feeling a floundering, and they know it, and it's showing.
Well, just like last night with when Boogie showed the video of Biden, they're showing him with his dogs. Oh, the dogs are going to be back in the White House, but wait a minute, hold on, back up about 500 steps there. Biden isn't the elected president yet.
Yeah, but how do you know? You see that. You see that. Putting Biden up on pedestal 24/7 right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Doesn't matter that we're going back into the Middle East. We're going to start killing Muslims again. And like Mersh said, USA, USA, we're gonna go start bombing the Middle East again. Nobody's even saying a word about it in the media. Trump was pulling troops out. Biden's talking about putting them back in. I mean, wait.
Irony is when even your enemies, the so-called enemies of America, are going, please don't put that guy up there.
Yeah. Well, I'm listening to the radio today, and they've got a Middle East expert. I think it was Andy Card or whatever.
Yeah, they're already prepping for the next wave of wars.
Yes, because he's saying, here we go with the word vacuum. We can't leave a vacuum in Syria, Afghanistan, Libya. I mean, he's rattling off all these countries that we need to send troops to because we can't have a vacuum. Because if we have a vacuum, we're going to have the rise of ISIS again. Here we go, right back to pre-2016, right? We're going right back to it. Like Trump never was there.
Pre-2016, they're going full 9/11.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
How hard they're pushing.
So we're going to send thousands of troops back to the Middle East. The media is almost like gleeful about it. Remember, and looking back in retrospect, I think everybody agrees George Bush sending troops over there was a big mistake. We should have never done it. But I remember the media had that running ticker, like the COVID ticker, of U.S. troops killed in the Middle East when Bush was president. But now Biden is going to do the same thing, and it's like, yes, but we got to stop the vacuum.
Yeah, but did you know there's a ticker under the Obama administration?
What's
Just
that?
like COVID disappear out of nowhere.
Yeah. So that's interesting. We went over that. We looked at some of those numbers, but going back to those numbers one more time, where it's going to obviously make a difference is Pennsylvania.
European peoples are going to war again. Boogie, the thing is, next year the Dutch, Belgium, and French elections after it's Southern Europe and Germany that will have elections. If they go full right, they're going to pretty much tell Poland, unleash your militias on Turkey. And that's pretty much an army bigger, better than the U.S. Army, aside from tanks and planes.
So, looking back at these numbers, where this Dominion makes a real difference, although it makes a huge difference in like House races and the popular vote. But where Trump needs it to make a difference is Pennsylvania. You got 1,200,000 votes. Where's the other one? Georgia. There's 30, 40, 50,000 votes right there.
Yeah, but the sanction of Poland, they have a problem. Poland, Czechia, Slovakia, and two more Eastern nations. They're basically forming a Benelux, which will be the counter to Belgium and Luxembourg financial bloc. Once that happens, Germany and France have nothing to say anymore. Because they don't have the money.
We've got Michigan, where that'd be 40, 50, 60,000 votes. There's a 40,000 vote swing. So Biden lost 20,000, and then Trump another 40,000, plus whatever fraud they find in paper ballots in Detroit. Which Rudy, was that Detroit where he said it was 100,000 ballots?
I think it's no. Philadelphia.
You got Minnesota, which is like 200. Trump comes close to winning Minnesota if they look at that 200,000 votes right there. Arizona was only about an 8,000 vote swing, but that might be enough to pull it off, right? You take 4,000 away from Biden.
And do you want to know? They already acknowledged their pledge. The minute they start looking into the voting machines,
right?
And because they're not, they'll look at swing states first, which will give them an excuse to look at nationally. You don't have any idea how many votes that will cost them.
Yeah, it looks like if they flip votes, boy, this is gonna hurt them badly, especially if they start flipping them back. Holy cow! Some of these states where it was really close, and Biden just squeaked by, he might end up losing those states if they go back through and flip these back. Through now, how do they do that? They can see it they can see it right where it happened. Right, they know when it happened. They know when 200,000 votes dropped, or 900,000 votes dropped, and 200,000 flipped. They know exactly when it happened. How do they prove it that those votes actually belong to Trump?
Well, it's easy to do because computers are great with numbers, and they'll tell you who what numbers and when they were altered.
Oh, we got some breaking news. The Michigan DA said the Trump lawsuit is racist. So that's enough to end the lawsuit, I guess.
Pull every social justice ploy they can, just to keep on holding their votes. Because they know if they put in it's racist or it's against LGBTQ, it's fascist, you name it, and Black Lives Matter will rise up again. Because currently those two parties are eating up the Democrats right now.
Yes, they are. Well,
because Black Lives Matter already said Biden now has to pay up because push comes to shove. Quid pro quo.
What is the Michigan DA going to do in court? Say, Your Honor, this lawsuit is racist. It's against black people. You can't let it go forward. I mean, these people have lost their minds.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They went way.
Here it is. Boogie Bumper sent it to me, of course. He's like the Kitty B on the show tonight. Oh, yeah. The Hill. Michigan Attorney General Trump's lawsuits insinuate black people are corrupt. Oh, good grief. This woman is insane. They're insane. They've gone completely crazy now. Absolutely crazy.
Well, they've been sniffing and huffing on their own basically, and they're gaslighting themselves at this
point. Here's something interesting from the same Michigan and Wisconsin thrown in there. Michigan and Wisconsin elections officials refused to explain sudden Biden vote influx. I mean, these people are just dumb. They're as dumb as a box of rocks, okay? We noticed a million votes pop up for Joe Biden at 4:30 a.m.
Like I know what a JPEG is. I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog.
Thank you for the ice cream, Fat Pink. And there's your picture of a hot dog.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog.
Victor, thank you for the ice cream, brother. I mean, how dumb are these people? Okay, you want to try to convince America that our vote was solid, and there is no such thing as fraud. Yet when someone says, "Hey, Michigan and Wisconsin, we noticed 1 million votes drop in at 4:30 when you guys opened back up. What happened? None of your damn business."
But, did you saw the official version of the former FBI head by Ted Cruz and I think it's the flamboyant one.
Oh no, I did not.
You have to look at that. They butchered him. They double teamed him and they lined him on the chop, and he pulled the string.
Who was that? Was it Richard Grenell did it?
Let me look up ROTC, I believe.
So elections officials, while you're looking for that, I'll read a little bit of this. Election officials in Michigan and Wisconsin refused to explain Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's sudden and dramatic vote tally increase that occurred in both states Wednesday morning at like 4:30 a.m. after they'd shut down at 2 o'clock. Michigan and Wisconsin state officials warned against misinformation being shared online, but wouldn't comment on specific vote tranches that appeared to show former Vice President Joe Biden suddenly receiving more votes than President Donald Trump in the two battleground states that remain tightly contested as of Wednesday afternoon, according to the New York Times. Wow, the New York Times reported that. Interesting. So, yeah, if you question the giant number of votes that came in at 4:30 in the morning after we've been shut down from counting and everybody was told to go home, if you question that, that's misinformation. Boy, these people are bad at this. They're terrible at this. Did you find anything, Victor?
I'm looking for the one because they have 3 4-hour ones, and I'm like, damn.
Well, I'm going to steal this one from our friend Boogie Bumper because this guy's a fellow New Yorker. And today, while you're looking for that, I'm going to tell people about New York. New York, you're allowed to go to a bar or a restaurant, but at 10:30, your carriage turns into a pumpkin and you must run home because the corona monster will get you. So all bars and restaurants must be closed by 10 p.m. at night, otherwise you may get coronavirus. Also, if you're having Thanksgiving, you can't have more than 10 people in your home. And I'm going to steal this line from Boogie Bumper, but that'll never happen here. You can't have more than 10 people in your home for Thanksgiving in New York State. Otherwise, you will face severe consequences. We're stopping the spread in New York. Andrew Cuomo wrote a book about what a hero he is for stopping coronavirus. He didn't stop shit, and a whole lot of seniors died anyway. So I stole this one from Boogie Bumper, so I'm going to play it.
Not fucking good, you fucking rat scumbag, fucking fag. You're in the wrong fucking city, you fucking scumbag. Oh, take your fucking mask off, you fucking scumbag. Fuck you. Fuck all you motherfuckers. De Blasio, you're a fucking cunt rag. Fucking rat. Fuck out of here.
Fucking rat. Oh! Oh, you fucking cunt rag. He sounds like some people I know over in East Utica. Sounds just like there's people I can take you to people 10 minutes away from my house that sound exactly like that. No shit. I'm not kidding. After a month of being down there, I'd sound like that too. That's not even close to the city though. That's in Utica. or Judica?
Drop the link in the DLive chat, by the way.
Okay, I grabbed it.
You're gonna need some timestamps though.
Okay.
Because if you see how long the video is.
Oh, it's 3 hours and 14 minutes long. Okay.
And it's about 1 hour and 48 minutes in.
1 hour.
Then Lindsey Graham and Bruce starts to rip the poor guy apart.
Okay, 1 hour and how much?
38 minutes.
48. Okay. 1 hour 40. Oh, Ted Cruz. Right? Is that the one?
The one I put in.
Is he the guy that rips up the FBI?
Starts up being the good guy, and Ted Cruz will let him back up.
All right, here we go.
Because right now you got Ted Cruz.
Yeah, so start here.
He butchers him.
Start right here, Victor.
And I need to check for real quick. Because that stupid lady is in there first. Yeah, 1 minute and let's see, 47.28. That's the
point.
Because Lindsey Graham will line it up and Ted will finish it. That's basically what it's gonna be.
Okay, here we go. 1 minute 47:29. I've got it at.
Would really embrace.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. McCabe. Thank you very much.
Sure. Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. McCabe, welcome. I'd like to start by discussing the Flynn investigation. As you know, the FBI team investigating General Flynn prepared a memo dated January 4th, 2017 to close the investigation into Flynn as lacking any basis to continue. The FBI had investigated and failed to find any derogatory information about General Flynn and determined he was no longer a viable candidate for investigation. But then, according to Peter Strzok, the seventh floor, the top brass at the FBI intervened to keep the investigation open.
Is Ted Cruz trying to look like a cross between Donald Trump and Don Jr.? He's got the beard and he's got the comb over going. Just saying.
Well, yeah, but you gotta look at this. This was the Russia investigation.
Right.
If you see how they were into him with the former leader of the FBI, have an idea how it would be in 2021 with the Democratic election.
You mean where nobody gets arrested? Just.
Oh, no.
Saying.
He's raiding the FBI right now.
Were you the one who made the decision to keep the investigation open?
I don't remember making that decision, but I certainly supported keeping the case open. I don't remember being the person that made that phone call, but I think that it was the right move to continue investigating once we had uncovered the information that we found.
So despite the fact that the career investigators concluded that there was no basis and no derogatory information and recommended closing it, you made the decision, or at least you agreed with the decision to keep the investigation open on what basis?
Well, I don't know that. I don't recall that the investigators determined there was no basis to continue. My recollection from the conversations we were having about the Flynn case.
The memo is a memo to close the investigation because it could not find any, quote, derogatory information about Flynn, and he was, quote, no longer a viable candidate for investigation. That's not ambiguous, is it?
I mean, that's not the same as what you said before. And I, of course, don't have that memo in front of me, but our feeling at that time was that we had found very little, if
their feels told them to keep going.
Turn that into the Democratic election.
Yeah,
they're going to be stuck like this guy. They have no explanation on why they called it Biden. They have no explanation why the ballots were there. They don't have an explanation why the machines flips votes.
Well, I think in the election, if people get caught, I don't think they're going to be in front of a Senate panel. At least not the people who did it. I think the people from like Dominion will be there, and all the voting machine, and maybe some attorney generals will be there, but from states. But other people, what's that?
They'll be questioning Pelosi statements.
Yeah,
they'll be questioning even the heads of CNN, MSNBC, Fox.
Yep.
Even Google and you name it. They'll all be rounded up again.
Well, you could throw in
the big tech companies. They'll be rounded up again, and they'll have to explain why did they do this.
You could throw in the polling companies too, like
to show up as well.
Frank Luntz. That would be funny to see Frank Luntz try to go. Mr. Luntz, you told us that Joe Biden was going to win Wisconsin by 17. He lost. Explaining. People lied to me.
If they had Lindsey Graham again doing the tag team, double team show they did for this guy, I'm gonna have a ball because that's gonna be the best entertainment for the year.
It'll be weird looking at. See, if Zuckerberg's up there being tag teamed, you can't tell because he's like an android, so you won't be able to tell if it's going bad or not for right.
Oh no, you'll watch fast enough because if you remember, I think it's what the Netscape suit against Microsoft.
Yep.
The FBI had Bill Gates crying.
Really?
Daryl. Oh yeah, hold on. I'll look that one up because you're gonna have a kick out of that one.
Let's keep rolling this though. We're Ted Cruz gets some
evidence about General Flynn until, of course, we found potentially very incriminating evidence about him.
Are you referring to the Logan Act theory?
No, sir. I'm referring to the fact that we uncovered that General Flynn was having the sort of direct contact with the government of Russia that we were looking for in all of the first 4 cases of Crossfire Hurricane.
Did you support using the Logan Act as a basis to go after General Flynn?
The Logan Act was not used as a basis to go after General Flynn. We opened the case.
You're aware of the White House meeting where the notes show that Vice President Biden at the time directly suggested using the Logan Act to go after General Flynn?
I'm not aware of that.
You're not aware of that. Well, those are notes from your colleagues.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I do.
Senator, I can say what the reasons that I agreed with and approved opening the case. And that was because we thought that General Flynn might be having inappropriate contacts with Russia. That's why we opened the case.
Inappropriate. So the only basis, this is a decorated 3-star general. The only basis that was put forward for what I think was a bogus political persecution and prosecution was an alleged violation of the Logan Act, which has never been used to prosecute anybody in the history of the Department of Justice. True?
No, I don't believe that's true. I think
name one person that's ever been prosecuted under the Logan Act.
No, I was referring to why we opened the case against General Flynn. I'm not aware of prosecutions of the Logan Act.
I think for those who are listening, we're talking about a conversation between General Flynn and the Russian ambassador after the election while he's the national security advisor in waiting. Is that correct, Senator Cruz?
We are. He's the incoming national security advisor. and Mr. McCabe, yesterday on MSNBC, Ben Rhodes, the former deputy national security advisor to President Obama, said that foreign leaders are already having conversations with Joe Biden, quote, talking about the agenda they're going to pursue January 20th. Mr. McCabe, based on that testimony, do you believe Joe Biden is violating the Logan Act?
I'm not aware of Ben Rhodes' statements or
take it on faith he said what I read. Assuming that quote is accurate, it's a verbatim quote, is that a violation of the Logan Act under any plausible theory?
I am not prepared to take your statement on faith. And I am also not prepared to conduct legal analysis.
All right, you're a lawyer. Have you ever answered a hypothetical in court? If it is correct that I am accurately quoting it, something the Department of Justice frequently did wrong in this investigation, if that is what Ben Rhodes said, if Joe Biden is talking with foreign leaders right now, does it violate the Logan Act, yes or no?
I'm not going to opine on a hypothetical
conversation can be investigated.
He is talking.
This is why they opened up the investigation and were listening in on General Flynn, because he was the national security advisor to President Trump, talking to the Russians exactly what Joe Biden is doing right now. I mean,
the irony, the Democrats pulled hard to get that the SES LSA agency into works. They made their own demon now. That demon is going to eat.
Boogie Bumper says all these people are like pasty white because they never go outside. You're right. This guy looks like he blends right into the wallpaper back there.
With foreign leaders, and it doesn't violate the Logan Act because the Logan Act is unconstitutional, which is why it's never been used to prosecute anyone. You authorized using it to go after General Flynn as part of a political persecution. I can give you the answer. Hell no, Joe Biden is not violating the Logan Act. The reason you won't say it is because that was your flimsy political basis to go after a decorated war hero because you disagreed politically with President Trump.
Sir, none of that is correct.
Which part? Pick any aspect.
We didn't investigate General Flynn because we were concerned that he might violate the Logan Act. We were concerned.
It is your testimony the Logan Act was not a predicate for the FBI and DOJ investigation of General Flynn. Really?
There were no discussions of the Logan Act.
There were no discussions of the Logan Act at the FBI or DOJ.
Did you see what he threw in there? There were no discussions of the Logan Act. To my best recollection, that's plausible deniability. There were discussions, and he just got caught.
That's the whole thing. They're pulling Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham have been firing him up to make statements.
Yep.
And he is trying his best not to corroborate any statements.
Right, but and on top of that, most people won't catch it. He just said, no, we didn't do that. To my recollection, that's so when he goes to court, he can try to get out of it and say, I didn't lie before Congress. I said I didn't recall, right?
Hang on, you're going to have a laugh because Lindsey Graham will put up a ball and Ted Cruz is going to finish it.
Okay, here we go.
Jay, that is your testimony under penalty of perjury before this committee. And I warn you, there is abundant evidence that there were.
Senator, if you're not going to let me finish my answer, I'm not going to be able to accurately answer your question.
Please go ahead. What is your testimony? Is your testimony, you just said there was no discussion of the Logan Act. Does that remain your testimony?
No, Senator. That's where you cut off my testimony.
Please continue.
I would like to finish
Please
my
continue.
answer. Thank you. When we initiated the case against General Flynn, it was not initiated for or as a result of any discussion.
Mr. McCabe, you're being non-responsive to the question. I didn't ask about the initiation. The Logan Act was a late a late pretext that was adopted after you investigated him and couldn't find anything, and the career investigators recommended closing it. All right, since my time is expiring, although the chairman took a little bit of my time, so I'm going to take a little bit of it back. Did James Comey authorize you to disclose information about the Clinton Foundation investigation to the press?
I didn't need James Comey's authorization.
I didn't ask if you needed it. I asked, did he authorize you to disclose it? That's a yes or no question.
I authorized the disclosure.
Okay, you're still not answering my question. Did James Comey know about it, and did he authorize it? Yes or no? Did he know about it?
To my recollection, sir, yes, he knew about it.
Did he authorize you? Did he in any way give you the green light explicitly or implicitly?
I didn't ask Jim Comey.
I'm not
That's
asking
not what he asked.
I'm asking, okay, according to the Washington Times, April 18, 2018, Mr. McCabe insisted he told his boss that he had authorized disclosure about the Clinton investigation, but Mr. Comey has denied this claim. And Mr. McCabe told investigators that Mr. Comey knew he had authorized disclosure and agreed it was a good idea. Is that accurate? Is that your testimony to this committee?
That is my recollection.
So you're aware that your testimony is 180 degrees opposite Mr. Comey's sworn testimony to this committee, in which he insisted he has never authorized anybody to leak to the press.
Oh, shit.
I'm not going to say what Director Comey said or didn't say to you. That would, however, your characterization of a leak is not accurate.
The FBI has records that will establish whether you're telling the truth or Mr. Comey's telling the truth. Do you believe the FBI should make those records public so if you're telling the truth, you can be vindicated, and if Mr. Comey's telling the truth, he can be vindicated?
I'm not sure what records you're referring to, Senator.
Any and all emails, correspondence, records whatsoever indicating that Mr. Comey knew of your leaks and authorized them.
I would very much like to see those records as well.
As would I. Thank you.
Oh, snap.
Senator Blumenthal, but I just want the American people to understand that was it wrong for General Flynn to talk to the Russian ambassador since he was going to be the new incoming national security advisor?
Is that a question to me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Our concerns about General Flynn's contact with Ambassador Kislyak was that the general might be maintaining some sort of hidden or deniable contact, and that he might have been the person in the campaign who coordinated efforts with the Russian government. The fact that General Flynn lied about his contacts with the Russians made it doubly concerning to us. The fact that General Flynn then lied to his boss, the vice president, about those contacts also was greatly concerning to us.
Well, let me just say this. General Flynn told the FBI agents, you have the transcripts, you know what I said. The FBI agents came back and said they didn't think he lied. But the problem we have here is this is after the election is over, that the National Security Advisor has every right in the world to be talking to foreign governments, foreign ambassadors. It's going on as I speak. I'm sure the Biden administration, believing they have won, is beginning to reach out to foreign governments to talk about...
Notice how he slipped that in there? The Biden administration believing that they've won. That was pretty slick.
That's the beautiful too.
Be China or anybody else. This whole idea that you would surveil the incoming national security advisor after the election, after the professionals in the field said there's no there, bothers a lot of us. Senator Blumenthal.
Oh, we don't want to listen to denying Dick.
Well, the Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham double team against Portnoy.
Interesting. Oh, there's more? Victor, there's more?
No.
Okay.
That was it. But that's the whole thing with this election fraud. The minute it becomes public knowledge, they're going to hold hearings about it.
Yes.
And certain Senate people were quite vocal about whether or not the votes come in, Biden is the president. And they're going to have to answer for that, especially Pelosi.
It's going to be interesting if, well, one last election thing from Just the News. Flashback. U.S. once decried an election with expelled observers, absentee ballots, and 90% turnout. So they were against an election where everything that's happening today happened in another country. Let's see.
Well, in a specific country. Look at the name of the country.
16 years before the presidential 2020 presidential contest in America, the U.S. government decried as corrupt an earlier election where special voting boxes were created to help citizens vote from home. Oh, we can't make this up. 16 years ago, election observers were expelled from vote counts. Pre-election polls were wildly off, and voter turnout in certain communities exceeded 90%. The country is Ukraine.
Do you see irony?
You can't make this up. The Ukraine had the same problems, and the U.S. got all pissed off about it. So that would have been during 2004. That would have been during Bush.
Yes.
Yep.
Who's been about in Ukraine for quite some time, even before a certain someone became VP.
Here's what's funny. The 2004 presidential election in Ukraine saw suspiciously high turnout rates that even Stalinist North Korea would envy. We just had that here. Oh, wait a minute. There's more. The State Department declared in 2004, after an election in the former Soviet Republic infuriated the administration of President George W. Bush. You can't make this up. They named every single thing the U.S. was pissed about in Ukraine that happened here in 2020. You can't make this up. Oh, God. They still consider... Oh, Booker Bradley. They still consider Iowa a toss-up state. Oh, let's go back to our numbers here. Iowa was... 477 dropped votes for Trump and a swing difference of 1,800 votes. So you take 1,000 off of Biden, you put 1,000 on Trump, it's not a toss-up anymore, right? Last thing for tonight, man, these 2 hours go fast, Victor. True Pundit. We have a list. Pundits and Democrats plan to hold. So if Biden is president, if he's president, he believes he's president because the media told him he is. We have a list. Pundits and Democrats plan to hold Trump supporters accountable. So, in other words, I've heard all of this on the radio today. Somebody went through the entire article, and they actually went through. This is actually true. Okay, it's validated. They're putting together a website. So their plan is to get you fired, lose all of your income, destroy your life, destroy your family, make sure you lose your home because you need to pay a price for voting for Trump. So they're going to put 71 to 73 million Americans out of work.
Yes, because having a Gestapo-like secret police is totally not fascist at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. This is what democracy looks like. How many times I heard that from the left? No, if number one, they keep forgetting we're a constitutional republic. We are not a complete democracy like some countries are that do this stuff, like put people on lists. You know?
Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark.
Here's another one. This is even better. This is mainstream media, Victor. CNN puts up a list of Republican senators who have not acknowledged Biden as president-elect because he's not officially president-elect. He's not. He's just not.
They're pushing people to concede.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Because if they don't concede, they'll lose. That's the entire problem.
Exactly. Our Constitution...
I'll tried it out, to be honest.
Well, our Constitution specifically states that the president-elect is decided by the states who validate the election in each state.
Problem with the whole Constitution thing. The whole Corona crisis, emergency laws, mandates, you name it, they're all unconstitutional.
Yes, they are.
Constitution only matters.
Yeah. Well, right now the Constitution doesn't matter to the media, to Silicon Valley, to Democrats. No, we don't need that Constitution right now because we've decided Joe Biden won. It's over, right? Concede. You have no constitutional right, President Trump, to contest any of the election results. But the Constitution means something to them when they want something. You know?
The whole problem in the U.S. Senate, and both parties are to blame for this. The only time the Constitution gets brought up in the Senate is when either side sees fit to use it.
Exactly.
That's kind of and systematic an issue, because even if Trump right now and all the Republicans go, well, the Constitution has been upheld, they have to acknowledge they're part of the problem because they use the Constitution to wipe their ass just to push in legislation they favor.
You know what I said Tuesday night? It's not just the politicians created an entire mess in this country, but it falls mostly on us. It's our fault. The American people fell asleep at the wheel for the last 50 years.
Oh, the main problem is, and that's straight from the Cold War days, the media and the corporations have been let go. Bill Clinton in the 90s, he even nullified a certain, dang it, I don't know what's it called again anymore, but it kept the corporations in check. And Bill Clinton removed that mandate.
Oh, regulations, right?
He deregulated regulations.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what set the whole thing on fire, because Microsoft got away with pretty much bullying any other software company that came around and stole pretty much everything. It's basically the new Thomas Bell thing, because he did the same. The Bell company did the same. Anyone who invented anything remotely connected to electrical appliances, Thomas Bell would sue them and get their invention and would patent that. Tesla was his biggest competition. The same is happening currently with the big tech and the news. They are pretty much outcompeting and outsuing and nullifying any opposition that would compete with them.
Exactly.
And that's something Trump will have to amend. And my main problem with Trump right now is this. Trump is going to win and he'll get carte blanche. And the minute he gets carte blanche, he's going to have to be very careful what he's going to do, because he might pull Joe Biden. Because no opposition to protest anymore.
if you're a streamer in maybe just about any country at this point, but if you're a streamer, you don't want Joe Biden because then you're going to see Silicon Valley just delete everybody and make sure that Fox News, MSNBC, and all the big networks are the only things that can stream any sort of news. And I think Boogie's brought that up several times. You better pray Donald Trump wins because they're going to do it. And they're going to, if you talk about news on a stream, they're going to cut your stream right off and delete you, right?
Take the example of the pendulum swings. The Democrats are pushing the pendulum to the point of breaking point. And the minute it swings back, you got to pray Trump doesn't snap it off.
Yeah.
That's the main problem. Trump will have an entire second election year where he has zero opposition after he gets elected. Because the House would be the Democratic House would be discredited, the Democratic Senate would be discredited, the news media would be discredited, any media outlet, big tech media outlet like Twitter, Facebook, you name it, they'd all be discredited. That's the whole problem. They delegitimize themselves the minute they lose.
Well,
and that's kind of a worrisome thing that will come up in at least around April or May.
Mm-hmm. Well, with what they're doing, with what the left's doing now, you gotta believe he's watching all of this, like calling for people to be put on lists, calling for people to be banned already, lose their jobs. He's got to be sitting back watching all this unfold.
Yes, but like I'm saying, the reversal is also an option. Because whether Biden wins or Trump wins, either side will be made mute.
Yep.
And that's the scary thing about the election. It's now do or die for either side.
Well,
because if the Democrats win, the Republicans will never be able to elect any president afterwards.
No, never.
And if Trump wins, the potential of no Democratic election would also be a thing.
Right.
Trump has been playing with the thing ever since he got elected in 2016, where he said, well, maybe we should abolish term limits and I should run a third year. Those things you got to keep in track, keep in the back of your mind as well. As glad I would be with Trump winning, I'm still worried.
Well, the amendment that allows a president to only run twice. Now, it doesn't say it has to be consecutive. Like a president could lose, come back and run again, but only serve 2 terms. That all started under FDR, and there's a reason why they did that after FDR. It wasn't to honor Roosevelt. It was because Roosevelt went full what you would call progressive today. Go back and look at what America was like under FDR. It was damn close to socialism. If you didn't have a sign in your store approved by the government, because the government was controlling all the prices in every store, and if you didn't have that sign up, you were shut down. FDR took thousands and thousands of acres away from homeowners who'd owned it for generations, maybe even close to the time the country was founded. He just took the land. He just took it. Government's taking it. I mean, he went full left wing, FDR. And that's why Congress, even the left and the right, agreed, yeah, we can't let this happen again.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. The Republicans now have because the Democrats have been pushing so hard. Even the moderate Democrats are like, dude, what are you guys doing?
Right.
And the Republicans now see, if we risk another election with Trump per safe for a third term, but who's going to replace Trump? And that's their problem. So that would actually gratify if Trump would go, we're going to end term elections, term limits. That would be actually the reason why the House and the Senate would vote in favor of it. Just because we can't have another Democratic president, because they'll take our rights away. And we have no faith in a Trump replacement. So let's keep Trump in power. And that's something that could be happening as soon as April or May.
Here's where you could be.
Democratic. The problem is the Corona crisis needs to end, and the whole Democratic election fraud has to be put to light. Once those two things end, and depending on how the Democrats play it, because they don't have many favors left anymore after that. That could be close to at least within 6 months, Trump will have a single party system. And that's a scary thought as well. Just like Joe Biden has a single party system, even though the Republicans would be still in the House and the Senate.
Here's where you're probably right on the Democrats joining in and changing something like that, is because AOC is actively going after people like Joe Manchin, who's more, he's more center, sometimes right of center. He's going for, she's going after the moderates right now, absolutely hammering them.
That's the problem. They're already coming out of the woodworks before they can. It's basically they're already butchering the cow before having slaughtered it. You know.
Yep. I've seen a couple tweets where she's going after moderate Democrats, and there's right now they're nervous. Like, what the hell are you coming after me for? We're in the same party. Well, if Trump wins, you're going to see those people shift right over and go, those people are nuts over there, right? And you're right, it could happen where they change something in the Constitution. Although our Constitution takes a 2/3 majority of the states.
Yeah, and with the voting machine, that's the thing. Trump, he did that today or yesterday, where electronic voter fraud is now a federal crime. So they're going to look into those voting machines, and if they see anything suspect in the swing states, they're going to look at national-wide. And then you'll see a House and Senate shift coming up.
So when did he do that? Did he just do that a day or two ago?
I got to look for it, because it's one of those at Real Trump tweets.
That had to be recent.
Yeah, I believe I saw it this morning, so...
Oh, interesting. Well, it's a federal election, too, but any election, even if it's for the local dog catcher, if you're caught cheating, it should be a federal crime, period. You said it was under his real Donald Trump, or was it under POTUS?
Under real Donald Trump, was it? I hate how Twitter, all the who to follow. I don't give a crap who to follow.
Oh, you know where I can check? I can check Telegram, because he's on Telegram, and it just puts his tweets in there. So you don't have to look through all the garbage. Fox News, wow, he was really hammering Fox News today. Holy smokes. Fox News. Fox News. Holy shit. You saw it this morning, right?
Because it was a tweet I saw popping by. So.
We are making big progress. Results start to come in next week. Make America great again. So that was this morning. He tweeted that out. Fox News. Wow, he hammered them today. Holy smokes. You said it was him saying it was a federal crime, right?
Well, yeah, it was because election fraud. It might be the election fraud bill. The Kansas Senate. No, that's not the one. Because he had an election fraud bill or another bill mandate.
It wasn't an executive order, was it?
No, it was not an executive order.
Okay. I don't see anything out there from today. It might. You never know. The way Twitter works, it might have been from a few days ago.
Yeah, I gotta look for it because it came up on my timeline, so I'm just looking for it on my timeline right now.
Yeah, and Twitter's terrible. When you need to find something, you can't find it. I don't see anything. What you got to do is download Telegram. He's on Telegram, so you can just rack through the tweets real quick. Just his tweets without all the garbage of who to follow and I don't see it, but it's 8:30. So we're going to get ready to get out of here. Just one more thing.
Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel condemned President Trump on Wednesday, accusing him and his campaign of lacking faith in black voters in their lawsuits against the state, questioning.
Okay, so, that was Boogie's thing. This Boogie should use tomorrow night on the Daily Boogie. He probably has it already, but from True Pundit, listen to this, Victor. Israel unveils surveillance system to track masks and social distancing. Holy shit.
You're going into Singapore right now.
Yeah.
Look at how Singapore is handling the corona crisis. They pretty much are on China's level of people surveillance. They still have corona. It's not helping. But they have a mandatory app, face recognition software. Everything is the minute one person gets considered, they already had issues with the app because the app is Bluetooth based. So if I sit on my end of the wall and my neighbor sits on their end of the wall, if I get COVID, they're getting COVID as well.
Oh, jeez, that's not good.
That's going to be a fun bit.
This new system tracks whether you're wearing a mask. I mean, holy shit! Wow, you heard with
Yeah, Becca popped it up on the D-Live chat, the federal voting legislation.
Oh, okay.
Trump had retweeted that one.
Perfect.
And that
Do I
one
look
included
like I know what a
electronic voter
JPEG
fraud.
is? I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog.
Thank you for the ice cream, Goofy Boots. So now, I guess if imaginary President-elect Biden gets elected, I didn't think this was true. I thought it was a joke until I heard it on the radio, too, that if Biden is the winner, he's going to lock down the U.S. for 6 weeks, maybe longer if needed, where you can't go outside, you must stay in your home. Almost as bad as Melbourne, but here's the other thing. You need to wear a mask at all times. Never take it off, including in your own home.
The same problems over here. They're currently working on making mandatory mask a thing. The entire problem with the Dutch government, however, is in March there will be elections.
Yeah.
And if a couple parties are like, this whole corona thing needs to end right now. And the Dutch public is pretty much on board with that.
That would be, how are you going to make sure everybody's wearing a mask in their home and wearing it 24 hours a day, unless you use what the Israelis are coming up with?
Don't you have Alexa in your home?
Have what?
Don't you have Cortana in your home?
No, I don't. I don't have Alexa, Cortana, none of that stuff. In fact,
you're using Windows.
My laptop, when I is in the house, my computer setup is not in the house. My laptop is in the house, but I keep it shut. I keep the thing down.
But here's the thing: if you have Cortana on, if you have Windows 10, you have Cortana. If your system has a camera, they can eavesdrop. They can turn the camera on, everything. And Big Joe Biden is in bed with the big tech, so do the math.
Then I'll just do what Boogie said what he's going to do. He's just going to sit in front of the computer all the time and jerk off.
Look, you don't have to submit to an in-house CCTV. Cortana and Alexa will gladly provide that for you. It's free of charge. It's already in your home.
We're going to keep you safe. Here, take this camera setup. We're going to put it in your house. It's free of charge, though, and it's keeping you safe.
People who don't have it in their home yet, I bet the big tech companies are going to deliver them at your house, and you're going to have to accept it. If you don't sign off on it, well, we know who you are.
So if the Israelis are unveiling this mask tracking and social distancing tracking system that they have, where they can tell you're wearing a mask or not, it would mean that they've had this for a while, and they're probably going to. Who knows how long they've been doing this to other countries? Just saying, you know.
It's probably got the Chinese version.
Yeah.
And after those 4-6 weeks, you shouldn't be surprised. After that lockdown, they'll have to go. We are going to have to restructure the entire economy, and before you know, you got. What's the Chinese already have? The citizen points.
Yep. So, yeah, you're referring to the IMF great financial reset, aren't you?
Goofy Boots, I don't trust Amazon.com. Because those items are not going to block anything if it's on Amazon.
Interesting. Yeah, you were referring to the IMF, right? The great financial reset the IMF has plotted out for us.
That's the whole big tech plan. Britain is already a go with it. Australia is already pushing it. If Biden wins, America is sure to follow, and then Europe is screwed.
That means
we have no our governments currently have no backbone.
I've read not most of it, but some of it, and what it basically is, and I need to read more of it, but it means we are all going to be equally poor, and of course the government officials will keep their money.
Government and the big tech will keep their money.
Yep.
We'll get equalized, because what they'll do is basically go, well, our biggest, the biggest friend with the lowest amount of income, what's your income? Anything below that gets reset.
Yep. Unbelievable. Yeah, we will be in it if Biden is put in office.
And then you get the Chinese social credit system. I couldn't come to the name, but I now got it. And it's a problem. And after that, once the social credit system is inbound, why vote?
Yep, exactly. You don't need to vote anymore. We're all equal.
If you disagree, your credit is going to drop.
At the beginning of the show, I talked about how Andrew Cuomo has decided on Friday New York State cannot have people in bars and restaurants after 10 o'clock, and you can't have more than 10 people in your home or face severe consequences in New York State starting Friday. That the same time Andrew Cuomo was making his announcement, Bill de Blasio was in the street with thousands of people crammed together celebrating Biden-Harris. You can't make this. These people are just can't make this up. Can't even make this. New York is lost. New York needs a great reset. We need. You're going to see something happen big in New York within the next couple of years.
If Trump wins, New York will reset itself. That's the joke, because anyone who's progressive will pretty much abandon the state.
Yep, they are. They're
already abandoned, but then they'll go en masse, because.
Well, you saw the election, all right? So Trump, if you take the flip votes out of New York, Trump only lost by like less than 1 million votes. If you flip, take the drop votes and the flip out, he lost by less than 1 million. That's as close as anybody. I said it was going to be a lot closer, and he got a lot more votes in New York than he did in 2016. And this number isn't even including the fraud that happened in New York City. So he probably came real close to winning New York if you counted all the legal votes and fixed the computer glitches.
The fun bit would be, because they're already saying, Republicans are going to succeed from the state. If Trump wins, and the Democrats are going to say, we're going to succeed from the state, Trump is going to pretty much going to say, do it.
Yeah. And New York can't survive on its own.
No,
it
that's
can't.
The whole thing. We don't know that, but they don't know that, because they brainwash themselves to thinking they matter.
Well, here's what'll happen. If New York State says we want to succeed, that's it. We're done. We want to be away from the United States, the racists and blah blah blah. Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be New York City by itself, because you saw the map of the rest of the state, right?
You're going to get a Brexit thing. They leave, but still cling around.
Yeah. Well, what'll happen is, the rest of New York State, the red, meaty part of New York State, where all the milk and all the corn and all the comes from, is going to tell New York City, you can leave if you want. We're staying. And because up here, that movement has grown exponentially, where they want to segregate downstate from upstate now, mainly the 5 boroughs. So what you'll see is, if Governor Cuomo says, that's it, we're leaving the United States, we're going to be our own country, blah blah blah, you'll get about 2 million New Yorkers that say, you can leave, you can take New York City with you too, we're not going. And by the way, we'll keep our windmill power, we'll keep you got to buy it from us.
That's the irony that will happen. Well, it's not they have to buy it from them, but it's going to be taxed.
Well, if they consider themselves a separate country, they'll have to buy it from New York State, New York City, the land or country of New York City will have to buy it from us.
That's the thing. I believe the power company is in both ends of the state. So what the company will be doing is, it will be selling power to itself, and it's going to be taxed. And we all know, if a company is going to have to trade with itself, it's going to increase the price.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're their own clients.
Well, if the rest of New York State is still part of the USA and New York City's by itself, that means we would have Trump helping us out, and they'd have Andrew Cuomo, who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, helping out the land of New York City, the country of New York City.
What happened with California, for instance. But the joke with Trump is not a Stalin who has, I got this part of Germany and I'm not going to develop it.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is going to pull a Western Germany then. He's going to pour money into developing rural New York.
Right. That's what I mean. It'd be a win-win for the rest of New York if Cuomo did that.
But that's the whole thing. New York would become, if you've seen the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd city-state.
Yeah.
That's going to be New York by that point.
Exactly.
But I don't think they'd succeed. That would be suicide.
They're crazy enough to want to do it, the citizens of New York, the ones that were still there. And if there were any conservatives there, they would gladly leave for the rest of New York if Trump was going to dump money into it and just make it boom.
But what you would get is the New York City separate from New York State as a voting. That would easily happen.
Yes. Yeah, we've wanted that for a long time. You saw the election map. I mean, it's almost laughable. The entire state's red except for the bottom corner, right? Well, just about the entire state.
And the same thing would happen to California as well.
Yeah.
But then the Republicans would also have to do that with Texas. Just sit out and keep it so-called fair.
Yeah, Boca Bradley just brought up in Pennsylvania, people over 90 registered to vote this year 4 times higher than the last 2 elections. But here's the thing, Rudy Giuliani caught it. They had 25,000 nursing home residents, and that would be your over 90, register all at the same exact time.
Yeah, again, that's the issue.
Yep.
They don't know how to build up a margin. It's a vertical line they made. and any testing software system that tests out how trends work and whatnot will show you that can't happen. That doesn't make sense.
No. People's Pundit, who does a lot of polling and digging, and he was actually fairly close, the most accurate of anybody on the polling, next to Trafalgar. And, of course, they're blasting Richard Barris, who's People's Pundit, and Trafalgar as being shoddy polling organizations. But they were the only ones that were close in this election. But he showed a graph of that. And he said this is not possible that you have 25,000 senior citizens in nursing homes register at the same exact time. Not possible. What they did was, he thinks they took a flash drive and just plugged it in and just, boom, register them all at once.
Well, exactly. And that's the whole with those systems. Computers love numbers, and they'll show you the numbers. Because computer systems are based on numbers.
And a computer is the only way you can get that many downloaded that quickly and that fast. I mean, that's just split second, right?
That's the thing. What the computer logs would show is device connected, device accepted, installed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then you'll see copy, literally copy, or cut and paste, however they did it. And then all those numbers would jump in. Because the thing is, they didn't have an algorithm to jumble the things up.
Or at least a program to say, okay, dump 5 ballots in, dump 2 ballots in, dump 5 over time, right?
If they did, for instance, let's say the machine would correct that dump because they have an algorithm in there, you can look at that dump and compare it to the actual dump we saw on TV.
Right.
And like, okay, Biden got all these votes, all these ones. How did we let's say they did it, they jumbled it up so it looks like it happened in an ordinary fashion. It built up, that would show in CNN. That wouldn't show, boom, Biden wins at CNN. That's what you saw live at CNN, where they were like, whoa, what just happened? They literally said that.
Yeah, where the numbers flipped. Trump lost a ton of votes, Biden gained a ton of votes. Yeah, what just happened? Oh, well, okay, no
so
big
even
deal.
If the computer algorithm jumbled things up afterwards, you would see that in the logs of the computer system, because it's an action. It's just as simple as you take your mouse and you place it to the left side. That's in computer language. Move hand, pick up mouse, put mouse down there left. Those notifications would happen in the computer. So even if they jumble it up, the computer would literally, the computer logs would tell you the computer jumbled it up.
Right. Yeah, they were also sloppy with who they grabbed to be registered, because they grabbed too many dead people. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, no, that's the problem. They probably had to grab. They probably did 1908, for instance, or 1928, but because they had a typo and it became 1828, then just copy and paste without checking.
Yeah, somebody obviously did that, because they're catching people that were alive during the Civil War that voted. I mean, and not just a couple, a lot of them.
They only had 2 hours to do that, and because of those 2 hours to do that, errors came.
Yeah, that's just terrible. I mean, I would have thought they would have had all this stuff ready to go, and even if they did that 2-hour deal, that, they would have at least checked what they had.
Well, that's the thing. They had the mail-in ballots ready to go, but the mail-in ballots weren't sufficient.
Right.
And that's what we'll see in the electronic counting machines. They had to compensate for the deficiency in votes.
That's why the media is so focused on the mail-in ballots right now. They are nonstop saying, even if they threw out those mail-in ballots, Trump still doesn't have enough to win. But obviously Trump knows about the computer algorithm as well. So
yeah, as Beck said, Trump put that in October, right before the election. That electronic voter fraud is also a crime. That wasn't a crime before that.
Exactly. So the media is only hyper focused on the paper ballots, but they're not saying anything about the computer glitches they keep finding.
Oh, that was a glitch. Like Tom from Bethesda would say, it's a feature.
Yeah, it's a feature. Abe Lincoln voted Democrat. Boca Bradley. Oh, yeah. When I saw the Civil War, the amount of Civil War people that voted, I just said, okay, they really messed up now, didn't they?
But the thing with computer fraud is it wouldn't have. It's like altering a Word document. I can pull out a Word document and I can see when it was made, when it was altered again and again and again and again, because all those things get registered, because they're time coded. And that's the whole problem with computer algorithms. They'll alter it, but time codes remain the same. So you'll see, let's say they had an algorithm that would say 50,000 votes came in around 9 p.m. When 4 a.m. the votes got changed, those votes that came in 9 p.m. will have a 4 a.m. designator on it.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. And even if the computer overridden that statement, you can still pull that back to a previous statement. Because on hard drive, unless it's rewritten several times, you can still pull back what was once there.
Exactly. That's why I believe
hard drive recovery for people, and even when the hard drive completely crashed, pretty much all the sectors were damaged, you could still pull out the data.
Yep. Unless you bleached it.
It would be all complete, but it would be enough, because I did it for people who had Outlook, with dial-up. So when your computer crashed, all your emails would be locked out because they were on your hard drive and they were encrypted by Outlook. So you had to pull them out. You wouldn't get the full email like a text document, like a Word, an actual email. You would get the people who sent it. Maybe a few characters would be wrong. The email, the context, maybe a few characters would be wrong, but for the most part, that email will be intact. And that's when a hard drive crashes, not when a machine rewrites things.
Boca Bradley is a question toward you. To you, the computer algorithm is easier to prove fraud than the mail-in ballots?
That's what I was just answering.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Even if a hard drive crashes, and where pretty much 90% of the sectors are damaged, you can still pull out the data. It wouldn't be complete data, but it would be enough data to prove. And that's the problem.
Now, they can prove fraud with the paper ballots. For instance, dead people, ballots with no signature, just a Biden vote. They can prove those, but
the problem with the paper ballots is when they get shredded or destroyed, they can only use it as a collaborative evidence. But in a computer, it's hard evidence.
Exactly.
That would be deliberate.
And with the computer evidence, there's enough votes in the 7 states that Trump, he would win. I mean, he would win all 7 of them. So,
thing, if he would win all 7 because of computer fraud, it would be a justification for a nationwide verification, and then they probably would lose several other states along with it.
And then what happens is we go to some much more secure system of voting. No more paper ballots, no more absentee. It'll be some system.
Would probably go the way we Dutch have it. We have a social security voting system.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said we should do.
That's basically what Trump would go. But the main problem with the social security system voting is you can still alter the vote. So it's not that secure, but at least it would nullify the mail-in ballots and miscounted ballots. That would solve that problem. But you could still alter the ballots by having, let's say you have a state that has 1,500 machines. Just fix 200 machines, and you would still get your favorite output.
But it would still be a record of a cheat somewhere in the computer system. So,
yes, but the problem lies in fraud detection. People don't, unless those machines go to a reputable company that verifies those machines. Once they're done, you wouldn't know.
Right.
That's the main problem. That's the benefit of paper ballots. Paper ballots exist.
Well, then I'd be fine with
software does exist, but someone needs to look into that software. And paper ballots need to be processed out. And processing out automatically encounters voter fraud. Software, unless someone checks it, you don't know.
Well, that's when you'd have to have government agents with the machine, which is fine. That's fine. Keep a government agent with a machine. So there's a way to fix it so there's that the likelihood of fraud is diminished. Let's put it that way.
To counter electronic voter fraud, you would have to do the following, and that's basically a GOP and DNC. Both companies are allowed to check it. The House and the Senate are allowed to check it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because of that, you'd get a freeway verification.
Yep.
And you'd get the right amount in the middle.
So that would decrease, like I said.
Have to do.
Well, that would decrease the likelihood of an attempted cheat, right?
Yeah, but it would have to be a freeway, not a two-way, but a freeway, because the third one is basically the dang it. When you do an experiment, you have a group of people you don't use. And you have people who do placebos, and you have people who use the actual medicine. By those three groups, you'll be able to tell if the medicine works or not.
Right.
That same system you need to incorporate within the electronic voting. Control group. That's what I meant. The House needs to be the House and Senate would be the control group. The GOP and DNC would both have their own interest in it. So they would be able to, the minute they spot Democratic fraud, the GOP would claim. If the DNC would spot GOP fraud, they would claim. And the House would be the control group, basically.
Right. That makes sense.
And because from those 3 points out, you get to the center.
That makes sense because it's got to be better than what we got now because this is ridiculous. They're still counting in some states here.
But if you have because our problem over here in the Dutch is basically we have a multi-party system. So, and they all basically bunch up, forming one single government. We have 4 to 5 parties who will always rule together. And therefore, we can't tell if there's any voter fraud.
Right.
Because they're not going to pull the same shit like the Democrats and the Republicans would do, is call each other's bullshit. And that's the benefit of a two-party system over a multi-party system. Because people are like, oh, let's vote with Liberal. Well, all you're going to achieve is you're going to achieve a purple party, which means the Republicans and the Democrats are going to be on one line. And you would never want to have that.
Right. Well, Victor, we're 9 o'clock here, and I don't want to cut into IT's time because he's on at 9. So, thank you. This is awesome. We went on for 2.5 hours, and it felt like 15 minutes.
It's fun to discuss these things.
Yes, yes. Thursdays, you can catch Victor and myself discussing.
Times is not on Thursdays. Joe.
Oh, okay.
Dang it. The Cousin Joe show is.
Oh, the Cousin Joe show. Okay. Yeah.
He's not doing a show because Cousin Joe is a bad friend.
Oh man. We'll catch you next Tuesday. I'll catch you next Tuesday and Saturday with Doc Martin and then the Speakeasy crew. And of course, Victor, you're always welcome to join that too if you would like. But I'll be on Thursdays with Victor, and we'll be talking your ear off. I love it. It's great. We went through a lot of stuff tonight and bounced some things off, and I think some people learned some things. So nice. Excellent. Don't forget about our T-shirt contest. We got 41 to go, so I can give away these damn T-shirts. Come on. I'll share the show out. I'll put it on BitChute tomorrow. And thank you, Victor, as always. Looking forward to next Thursday.
Thank you for having me on. It's a lot of fun.
And Saturday. Anytime you're welcome on Saturday nights as well. Just let me know so I can shoot you the Zoom link if you ever want to jump in on a Saturday. Thank you, everybody, for coming. What's that, Victor?
Zoom thing, because at the start of the show, Discord was cracking up a lot on my end.
Oh, yeah. You know what? We could probably do Zoom next Thursday if that works better for you.
I hope. I don't know. Because Discord, it probably has some updates going or whatever. And then the audio starts to crackle up. You know what? I don't know how stable Zoom is with that.
It's a lot better.
Well, Discord has a tendency to not do an update, even though it has an update pending, which is annoying.
Oh, I probably should check that. Yeah, you know what? Never sends through updates on Discord for me. Everything else does. It won't let me run it until you have an update, But, all right, guys.
I've had my own moment. I had 5 updates pending, and it still wouldn't update. And then your audio channels are fucked.
All right, guys, I'm going to open up the chest here. There wasn't much tonight, but hopefully we'll... next Tuesday, I'll save the lemons over till Thursday. How about that? When Victor's on, we'll release the chest on Thursdays. Thank you again, Victor, and we'll see you on Saturday night at 8 o'clock with Doc Martin first, and then the Speakeasy crew, and Victor if he wants to come. Don't forget, tomorrow night is the Daily Boogie. No Irrational Times. I was wrong on that. I can't keep everybody straight. Apologies. Don't forget Iceman. I saw him in the chat earlier. 4433s on Sunday nights. This weekend we got our shows at 8 and 9.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want a picture of a
the Victor show.
Dog. Do I look like
He'll be
I know
coming.
What a JPEG is? I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog.
Sorry about
Thank you, Victor. Victor's show. He'll be coming soon. Coming back on, so
I'm gonna do a few shows after either on November the 20th or after it, because I'm gonna cover the Dutch St. Nicholas party, because we currently have a right-wing one and a left-wing one, which is gonna be interesting to spot the differences.
Yes, that'll be cool. I gotta check that out. All right, guys, we'll see you. Well, we'll see you Saturday. Don't forget, Daily Boogie tomorrow. Oh, JJ Stoner on tomorrow. Day Wave, Night Wave, Something Wave, Revenge of the Sis. That was pretty funny today. Thank you to Kitty B, as always, in the chat with the links right on top of things. We'll see you Saturday night. And hopefully Victor shows up for some Speakeasy show at 9. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
kiss you.